Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Leslie and Lily, the podcast for business owners to learn about other business owners, as well as learning how to market themselves in the digital sphere. My name is Leslie, owner of Lily Rose DMA. And today I'm really excited to have our guest, Dana Hayes-Burke, on the show. She is a speaker, she is a business owner extraordinaire, and she has a lot of tips that could really help you make a profitable business this year and no matter what the economy. Hey, Dana, how are you?
I am wonderful, Leslie. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm happy that our technology is working, and I'm happy to have you on the show today. What I really, really loved about chatting with you pre show was how long you've been in business and how it isn't just in the United States. So, could you tell the audience a bit more about yourself?
Okay, so you heard my name. My handle and the term that my community used to describe me is the vision builder. I am a business strategist, a business consultant, an international speaker, and I am in the business of helping entrepreneurs and micro business owners to scale up their businesses so that they can pay themselves, so that they can have a platform to grow a bigger, more stable business, and so that they can finally live their ideal life design. Um, I have been in business for 10 years. And therefore, what I do as a business strategist is very much integrated into my own journey. Because what I've determined is that persons start businesses with these great ideologies of what the business should do for them. But then reality happens,
Mm,
and it's like it's not what they thought it could be. The ins and outs of actually running the business is now something that's difficult for them to navigate. And truthfully, they're not able to turn it from a hustle into an actual business that they can become the CEO of. So, my goal, I'm on this mission. I work from the Caribbean and I've built a global business that empowers, that educates, and that allows others to build their business. My goal is for persons to not depend on me, but to have what they need to finally have the business they've been looking for. And it's been a thrilling journey, and I'm grateful to have the audiences and the opportunities to really give actionable information that persons can implement.
I really like that a lot. I like the fact that what you do is with strategy is basically teaching people how to fish.
Mhm.
Instead of being the one like, I'm not the grocery store, I am giving you the tools so that you can survive without me, which
Yep.
is something that I think when you are a business owner, you get to a point where you can become overwhelmed if you don't have certain systems in place, especially if you are the only one in your business and you're wearing all these different hats. And I know myself, like I have a marketing company and I've switched over to consultancy and strategy. But in the beginning, it was also very difficult of I'm marketing for other people and I have all these clients, but it's hard for me to market for myself.
Yeah.
So to be able to sit down and be like, okay, come to Jesus moment. Like, all right, girl, like you, people need to know about you. People need to know. So you have to
Ah,
actually implement strategy for yourself and not
yeah.
just for your clients. So when people first come to you, what are some of the common concerns that they have with their business?
Okay, so I'm often very clear about the persons that I work with. Typically, I work with persons who've been in business for 3 years and onwards. And there is a reason for that. Not that I don't want to work with someone who's just getting started, but there is a mindset of the business owner who's been in business for 3 years onwards. They're basically at the point where they're tired of the hustle.
Mm,
They're tired of exactly what you've just described, trying to do all the things, trying to wear all the hats. They're tired of the hamster wheel. And they have really had a come to Jesus moment that
mhm,
I don't have a business. Like, I'm doing stuff, right? But I
mhm,
don't actually have a business. So what happens is by the time they come to me, they've realized that it's not working, it's not sustainable, And honestly, they can't duplicate their results on a consistent basis.
Mhm.
Those are indicators that things are not where they're supposed to be. Those are indicators that there's a lot of activity,
Mhm.
but at the end of it, there is nothing that stands. So by the time business owners come to me, here are the challenges they articulate to me. One, cash flow is not what it's supposed to be. It's a
Mhm.
sad reality, but they don't have the money. Two, they're at the point where they're not getting the clients they're looking for. So they're 3, 4 years in, and business are still fighting them on their price. And I'm sure some of your listeners are
Yes.
probably nodding their head right about now,
Mhm.
right? Thirdly, they recognize that they can't get sick, they can't have a vacation, because if they are not working in their business does not function for them.
Mhm.
So those are three indicators right away that I am nowhere where I need to be. So when they come to me now wondering what's the difference that I'm bringing, because we're in the world of social media, we're in a world of several coaches, we're in a world of a lot of strategists. So they're trying to determine what's the difference that I bring. Well,
Mhm.
I bring the business to your business, plainly put. I'm going to take you from where you're at to where you ideally want to be. Will it happen overnight? No, it will not. And I do not sell dreams. But I let you see what is possible based on what you've built so far and where you
Mhm.
can take your business to. So, those are the common concerns. And truthfully, just for everyone listening, whether you're in the Caribbean, whether in the US, whether you're in Europe, this is a common problem. Okay.
Mhm.
Doing too much, getting paid too little, and not attracting the right people, and not being able to take a break is very common, and it's also very fixable.
Yes. I felt like you just spoke to my entire heart, because that is a true thing. I What I have also found, and I'll just use myself, is just like you said, when you're first starting a business, even though you have a skill of what you're doing, you also have to gain new skills of being a business owner, on your own and not working for somebody else. So you're trying to learn as you go, a lot of it, where it's just like, okay, I'm really great at this, but I suck at these things. So I'm trying to do this, but I'm also trying to make sure that I'm making money. I'm also trying to make sure that people know about me, and you have all the hats, and then you end up becoming overwhelmed. And then, as you said earlier, which I was just like, oh my goodness, people don't wanna pay you what you put out there, but that doesn't mean that there aren't people who will pay you. It just means that you've been going to the wrong audience, you know?
Mhm.
And so something that I had to learn for myself, as well as I've told my other clients, is like, my prices are my prices. And I know that I am worth this. And it's not just that I know that I'm worth this, but I know what I can give you. I can show you what I can give you. And especially when it comes to strategy, as you said, this isn't an overnight process. This isn't one of those you've gone viral, like everyone sees you. Most people who have gone viral, it has definitely been a surprise to them. And most of them have not been able to capitalize that and consistently be able to get like all these brand deals and stuff now because of that one video. Like they didn't have anything in place. So when it comes to strategy, it's I'm setting you up for a great future. And that is why certain price points are what they are, because this isn't just for a week. This isn't just for a month. This is like a couple months or a year's worth of work, that I'm helping you with. And I think sometimes people don't fully understand that. But as you also said, when you do work with the correct clients, when you do work with clients who have been in business for a while and they understand what you're saying and they're like, you're right. You're right. I've tried to do it the other way. I've tried to do this. I've tried to do that. It's not working. Okay, because I'm tired of getting my cousins, I'm tired of my family members that are like, "Hey, could you do this for me?" It's just like, "I'll pay you, here's a love offering." Like, "No, I have a business." Like, I need
Exactly.
real money.
Oh my gosh, you are so right. You know that, and that's where we start. And nothing is wrong with starting there at times. But
Mhm.
here's the thing: we're talking about thinking about the client paying you. I'm honest. A lot of the times it's not the client, it's you as the business owner. You don't believe in your prices. You don't even
Mhm.
understand why you're pricing what you're pricing. And that's why one of the things that I would often work on with clients is pricing strategy. And I
Mhm.
just have this simple principle that helped me. Before you can price for value, you got to know how to price for profit.
Mm.
Okay, so sometimes it's hard to articulate value pricing because it depends on how you feel on a particular day. It depends on where you are in your business. It depends on numerous circumstances that
Mhm.
goes into this emotional, oh, what is my value, what is my worth?
Yeah.
Well, what are your numbers?
Mm.
Before you can add a value premium on your pricing, you need to know what it takes to have a pricing strategy that allows you to pay yourself, pay your bills, and grow your business.
Mm.
That's pricing for profit. Once you have done that, as you continue to build your reputational value, you are able to add a value premium on that. So even in working with the clients who come to me, right? That's a struggle. Just no kidding. Just 2 days ago, I had a consultation call, and that was the struggle, a key part of the struggle with this business owner. She's been doing this for 16 years.
Mm.
Key part of the struggle. And I said to her, I said, firstly, pricing is first for profit. So you need to know where you are most profitable with your pricing, and then you add your value onto that. That's how you know if you have wiggle room or no wiggle room. So when you're just pulling numbers out of a hat, it's always going to be a roller coaster. It's always going to be. So when it comes down to that, sometimes it's the client, but versus you. If
Mhm.
you don't know your numbers, there's just a part of me that is absolutely quantitative. Give me numbers any day. Feeling will defraud you. Numbers don't lie.
It's true.
Give me the numbers and I'll tell you what is your profit pricing. And
Mm.
from there, we add your value pricing. So when all else fails, you know that if I go beneath this price, I am making a loss all day, every day, all year long. And that is really one of the ways that I help persons with that particular issue because it is a struggle. And entrepreneurship and owning your business is an emotional journey at times. And you have to find ways to really biohack your mind
Mhm.
to make the right choices when it comes to your money.
Okay, let's just talk about this for a second. Okay, let's just talk about it. I love everything you said. I mean, that was my, come to Jesus moment because I realized that I was like, I am not charging enough at all, at all. And so, in the beginning, as you said, even though you might know what you're doing and you're confident in what you're doing, you're not sure other people are going to believe you, right? And so I had to do a lot of mindset work in the very beginning of just being like, okay, not only did I do my research and I looked at other companies in my area and I looked at like median pricings and like different things that I was offering as well. I'm like, okay, I should be starting at no less than this, right? But then you started thinking about the other things that you're adding, but there was still a barrier in mind. And I think when you start on your own, when it's just like when especially if you're at the beginning, you feel like, oh, well, I have to price a little lower. I don't have, the social proof yet. People are wanting to know. So, what can I do? So, if you have somebody that is in that stage of in that mindset, what is something that you would tell them?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say to you is you have social proof. Yes, I'm very contradictory.
No, I
Compared
love it. I love it.
to you have social proof. Do you have paid proof? No, but you have social proof. The thing about it is, many of us get into businesses where we were already doing something well.
That part. Mhm.
We've been doing it. You've been doing it since 1992. And then you come to me and you say, "Oh, I have no proof." And I will go right back to say, "Tell me your time when you did this. Who did you do it for? What was the result? Tell me another time when you did this. Who did you do it for? What was the result?" Just because it wasn't paid does not mean it's not evidence.
Mm,
I really believe in the power of evidence. Evidence counteracts fear. So
mm,
my first thing is, if you're a graphic artist, let's see, and you'll say, "Well, I don't have the certificate, or I just finished my program, or I don't have any paid clients to refer me to." I guarantee you that you did not just wake up on January 1st, 2023 and said, "Oh, graphic." I guarantee you that you were doing some form of graphics
mm,
prior to that. My suggestion is, firstly, if you think you have no social proof, go get it from the people you've been helping all these years.
mhm,
Ask them to share with you how you help them to do this or how you help them to do that. Accumulate information about those hours of work that you've done. That's your first level of proof. Because right away, by the time you've done that, guess what just happened? You went from thinking that I'm not capable and I don't have the background to command this feat to realizing, dang, I've been doing this again since 1992. So
yes.
I do have the credibility. I do have the background. I do have the support. And that's going to help you right there with your confidence because now there is evidence. You see, what happens with confidence is when I don't have evidence to support what if I have evidence to support a different counteracting view that what's going on in my mind, I have to default to the evidence.
Mm,
When you don't look for the evidence, then you go wherever your emotions take you. You go where your mind is, your body follows. So you enter into this space without confidence. You enter into this space thinking you're inadequate. But if you take a moment and gather the evidence. Now, if you say to me, "Dana, well, I gathered the evidence, but is it really credible? Does this really count? I mean, it was my sister, it was my high school. Does it really count?" I'm going to ask you, with are those people? Because what's the difference between that person and a peer? Is it a person that you've helped? Then
mm,
yes, it's credible. Yes, you can reference that to share your experience because ultimately experience is lived. And then you can translate that into your marketing to demonstrate what you've
mm,
done. And then you demonstrate where you've now gotten to. Even your work experience. Do you know how many persons that I know start businesses? And there is some sort of cognitive dissonance that goes on in our mind that we think that our experience from work can't translate into our businesses.
mhm.
So we decided that I've started my business and I've actually just started on day one. When you just had a 10-year long career, it's illogical, but it's the way that the human mind is wired. We naturally lean towards the negative. We naturally lean towards it's a compensatory thing, it's a psychological thing.
Mhm.
And if you are aware of it, you can counteract it. So my suggestion to you, who is now starting off and thinking, I don't have the social proof. I don't have the long line of clients, paid clients that I can reference. I'm going to ask you at the end of this podcast, after listening to it, go back to your history. I am certain that the area that you are leaning into, you do have some expertise in that area, even if it was in a non paid or ad hoc capacity.
You just said it all. You said it all. No, because I guess what is this? This is year 3 of me being in business for myself, but this is year 9 of me marketing, right? And I had to do the same thing where I was compiling things and I was like, "Well, I only have this much." And then I sat and I thought, I was like, "But you were marketing when you were in this other job, and you were marketing when you were in this other job." And marketing is a broad term. Like it means a lot. They're different niches, they're different areas in marketing that I was doing until I found the area that I loved the most. And what I do a lot and what I've talked about a lot on the show is pivoting. People, a lot of times people pivot in their careers. So maybe they started off as a teacher and now they're a writer, or, maybe they were a physicist and now they own a bakery. And it's just one of the reasons why I love having people on this podcast is because there's something about you as a business owner that is going to be relatable. And there's something in your experience that is going to help me as a business owner, whether I'm in the same field of business as you or whether I am not. And so, what I have found myself, to piggyback off of what you said, is I was like, I was marketing this way when I actually was a teacher. I was recruiting, I was bringing people in, I was coming up with campaigns, I was doing all of these things. And then I was just doing that offline and not online. And then I was able to do online things. And then from there, I was like, oh, yeah, I love content creation. I love management. Like, this is easy. This is fun for me. And I was looking at other people like, but it's easy. Like,
Yeah.
if you just follow these steps, it makes sense. And now, as I said, I've done another pivot in my business where I feel the best at, which is the consultancy and the strategy, which brings back my teaching, which brings back, putting teaching and marketing together. And I've always been excellent at being able to look at a problem and being like, oh, this is your problem here. And if you put this in place, then you'll be able to fix it. And this is the projected timeline if you do these things. And, like, oh, what platforms do you want to be on? Cool. This is how you interact on this platform. This is what you do here. And it's just like it comes naturally, but that when I was first starting out, I wasn't putting all of my experience down until one day I also had a moment and I was like, wait a minute, you've actually been doing this for a long time, like a long time. And
Yes.
it's true, that made me a lot more confident. It was just
Yeah.
like, see, I knew what I was talking about. But I think as a business owner, when I mean, it's up and down, like you have fat months, you have lean months. But as you said, if you start off saying, I have to make like no less than this. Like this, we can add on to this, but bills have to be paid. I need to have some room in there for when I have lean months. Like all of these things have to be put into place. And most of us, including myself, did not know that in the beginning.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
when we have somebody like you, like giving us this wealth of knowledge, like I hope people who are at the beginning, middle, whatever part of your journey, I hope that you really grab onto this and start putting some things into place.
And I actually think one of the biggest things we need to do, because now we're in the social media space and there's always a lot of information pushed at business owners, at entrepreneurs, and
Hmm.
solopreneurs. That's the new thing that's coming out. And there's a lot of information that's thrown at you, and you have to start learning how to filter through the
Hmm.
information that's being thrown at you, right? The thing about it is, you are great at what you're great at, correct?
Hmm.
Everybody's great at what they're great at. In fact, any client that I work with, usually I don't need to tell them how to do what they do well.
Hmm.
But building a business, the structural parts of it, the strategy parts of it, the visioning parts of it, those things do not come naturally to everyone. That's my skill set. So I
Hmm.
can bring that to you, or even with you and strategy with marketing, you can bring the strategic element to elevate the side of their zones of genius in their businesses. But what we also need to start doing is challenging certain things. For instance, being a solopreneur does not mean you have to do everything on your own.
Yes.
First thing you need to challenge. Okay, that's the first thing I want you to challenge. Yes, there are a lot of capabilities running a business virtually, remotely. Yes, there are a lot of advancements in terms of software that's available to support you, but software can only do what you inform it to do. Therefore, you need to understand your business so you know where in your business process you should have software, where you need support, and where you need strategic guidance. That's the first thing you want to challenge. So, solopreneur, there is no superhero prize and no Oscar for trying to do everything by yourself. First thing. Second thing I want you to challenge is the hustle mindset. It almost seems as though if you are not talking about grinding 20 hours a day, you're not doing your business right.
Mm.
Newsflash, that's not what we're looking for in this life. Well, maybe you are, but Dana is not looking for that, and I'm pretty sure Leslie isn't either. Okay? We're not out here for the grind 20 hours. I'm getting old. I'm not
Mm.
old yet, but I'm getting old. And I intend to live life while I'm building my business.
Mm.
So challenge that mindset. There is no Oscar again. Let's go. There's no Grammy for you working 20 hours per day for 3 months just to get your business up and going. Will there be times that you have to work more? Absolutely. Absolutely. But if that is your constant flow, something is wrong with that. Challenge that mindset. And thirdly, I want you to challenge the notion that things in your past was wasted. You know,
Mm.
experiences were wasted. Nothing in life is wasted. Everything informs the next level of your growth. Just to share my own story, right? My first business, I used what was available to me most easily, and I started an event management firm. I always considered it to be my transition business. I always knew it. It was to get out of my job. It was to give myself more flexibility, more time. And I started my business really solid because I knew how to build business. And I left my job in 1 year. And then in 5 years, started to transition out of that business into this business. Why did I do that? Because I knew where I was going, firstly, because I knew it was not my long term plan, and because I had that vision, right? But here's the thing. Someone asked me, why didn't you keep the event business? It was going so great. And I'm like, because it had its purpose. When it was done, it was done. But nothing in life is wasted. Now in my consultancy, I do use my event skills, but for my
Mm.
consultancy. You see, nothing in life is wasted. And so therefore you want to start thinking about how can I elevate my business using some of the skill sets that I threw away from my career, but I can now implement in my business. So I just wanted to encourage you guys, challenge the mindsets. We're in a space of a lot of information, but you got to know how to take the meat and throw away the bones, as we say in the Caribbean.
Yes. Yes, and I also think that you need to know who you are as a business owner and as a person and how you learn and take in things. And this is something that being a former teacher has taught me. Everybody has a different learning style, everybody has a different personality, and also different times of day where they are best.
Yeah.
And so some people they focus best in the morning, some people it's afternoon, some people it's evening, early, like 2 a.m. sort of thing. So how can you structure your business? How can you structure like the times where you need to make sure that I am doing admin stuff or I'm looking at things like what time of day is best for you with that? But to also say, when you said, you don't have to do everything yourself. Like, what's great is that we have virtual assistants. And if you are also trying to strategize and trying to see how much money you need for your business to grow and for you to actually have a profit, you should also be putting in how much certain things cost. It's like, how much does it cost to have this CRM program? How much does it cost for me to have somebody work for me part time so that I can work on the stuff that I'm great at and I can give the admin stuff to somebody else to do. And so you have to really sit down and look at your strengths and your weaknesses. And I feel like a lot of us, myself included, there's this thing of you feel like you have to do it all. You feel like that is what proves that you're good and you're great. And the truth is, you really have to sit and think when you worked at an office, was the CEO doing absolutely everything? No, they weren't. They hired you to do a job. That's why you would get mad sometimes and be like, "You hired me to do this. Why are you micromanaging me? Leave me alone." So I really think that as a part of your strategy, you need to sit down and think about, how do I learn? What is the best time of day for me personally to do this? And it might change week to week, especially if you are a woman and we have our own different cycles, right? But you need to sit down to know that so that you can start planning ahead. So you can say, hey, actually, I am a night owl. And what I do is I tend to schedule my meetings in the afternoon into evening, and I go and I do all of my admin tasks probably around like 2 a.m. But I've set it up so that this actually works for me. The earliest meeting I might have is 1 p.m. Other people are like, if I could have a 7 a.m. meeting, I would do it every single day if I knew other people were there for me. But just that mind shift and just that learning about yourself will help you. Something else that I firmly believe in, and as what you said, and we've both been talking about, is you need to keep a list of your wins. Show what you do. Like anytime you're on somebody's podcast, anytime you've helped somebody else out, add that to your reel of greatness, basically, so that when you are having a day where you're just feeling like this isn't working, I'm not sure, you can always go back and you can be like, but I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm ready to get back in there. I'm ready to do this. And don't forget to rest. As you said, we don't have to listen. Like, I am not a part of the 5 a.m. club. I am not I'm not like those bros that, like whenever you listen to motivational videos, they're like, go hard, just do it. You can do it. I'm like, listen, why are you yelling? Like, can we just talk?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do
Yeah.
that. And that does not motivate me. That doesn't make me want to do better. But other people, that motivates them, right? And I had to learn who I was. And that doesn't mean that I'm a bad business owner. That doesn't mean that I'm not the entrepreneur, that you see that's like the celebrity entrepreneur. It just
Yeah.
means that I have my own style. And I just really wanted to let people know that, like, you can succeed. You just have to set yourself up for success.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. And I endorse that 100%. And it's not my style either. Like, let's use words and let's calm down, take a chill pill.
Yes.
But you're right. I think it's so important. And for me, what I do for myself and then I suggest it to others is add some structure to your time and to your day.
Hmm.
Add some clear structure. I think, again, just from a business perspective, what happens to entrepreneurs and micro business owners is that you get caught up working in your business, that you don't actually make time to work on your business, and there is a difference. So, working in your business is the activity you do to maintain those income streams and that sort of thing. Working on your business is the strategic element that it's essentially mapping out your journey so that when you get in the vehicle of your business, you know where you're going. And so it's critical for you to do both. When it comes to now your time and your productive time, now I think best earliest in the morning. Therefore, a lot of my strategic time will be early in the morning. It is just the way that it is. So when it comes to thinking about where you're going with your business, looking and evaluating your numbers, evaluating your systems, that sort of high level thing that you need to do in your business, you shouldn't do it at the end of a long day. You
Hmm.
shouldn't do it on the day that you have all these client meetings and stuff like that, because you're not going to get the best outcome. You're going to sit down and you're going to be fried, like straight up fried Chick-fil-A situation. So you don't want that to happen. So be structured. Understand that it's priority. In order for you to grow, working on your business is a priority item. It's not optional.
Mm,
Allocate time on your schedule that is my working on my business time, and it should be non-negotiable.
mm,
Again, I'm just going to give your audience a little Caribbean stuff. It's like this: drunk or sober, mind your business. So,
I love it. I love it.
so basically, give priority to the growth of your business. And Leslie, you were talking about that. You were so busy doing the work for your clients that you weren't actually implementing what you knew for yourself
Mhm.
on in your business. So you have to, just as your clients have scheduled times and appointments, ensure that you have scheduled times and appointments for you to work on your business. And guess what? Give yourself the best time of your day, meaning your most energetic, productive time of the day. That's what you give your business, right? So, firstly, that's what you want to do. Secondly, schedule time to take a day off. The
Mhm.
world will not burn down. And
Yes.
quite frankly, I say it this way: if you got an emergency that's like emergent, please call the authorities, because I certainly cannot help. Okay. If there's a fire, you call the fire department. I'm not the one to call. You got to take time. And again, not saying that you have to be super regimented, but you have to take time to do the things that are of value to you,
Mhm.
including rest, including spending time with those that you love. I have a very mapped out schedule for myself. There are times I will have to adjust my days, but
Mhm.
for the most part, my clients know how my days go. So, for instance, weekends are for my kids and my husband. My kids are at the age where they're in every extracurricular activity that you can find. So Saturdays don't belong to us any longer. It
Mhm.
belongs to the various activities. My clients are aware of that. They would occasionally message me during that time, but they're aware that I'm going to be delayed in my response.
Mhm.
So you can manage your interface and your interaction with your client base because you're a human, right?
Mhm.
So allocate time that you rest, you take a day off, you decompress. Times of the year, times of the month, okay? And I know that there's this principle that we have in our mind. Well, I'm not there yet, Dina. Maybe you are there. Well, I believe this. You live your vision while you are building your vision. And
Yes.
that is predicated upon the idea that you cannot continue to live in the when then. When I have this, then I'll do that. I truly believe in while. While you are working towards this thing, you start to experience microdoses of it as you go along. So you may not be able to run away for a weekend at a hotel. Go on Groupon. Find yourself a spa situation. Take 2 hours and do that. Okay, that's what you can do. You start to experience it in small doses, and it helps you to open up your mind so that when you do get to the place with the money, with the more money, you can do it at a bigger level. And then just to add what you're saying, the social proof, one of the things that I had to learn, having been featured so many spaces and places, having so many wins, at some point in time you always have to remember when to migrate from it becoming social proof to now it becoming encouragement and of usefulness to your audience,
Mhm.
right? So at the beginning it's social proof. Guess what, guys? I'm featured here, meaning that I have something to say and I'm doing something great. So really, this is another point of evidence that you really should contact me. But
Mhm.
then when you're at the stage where you've had it so many times, what you now need to start doing is hinge a story of encouragement on your journey to this place.
Mhm.
So that when you share it with your audience, it's no longer just to prove that you can do it, but now it's to encourage them that they can do it too. And that's really, really important.
Yes, that is very important because then you're still connecting with your audience and it isn't just, look at me, I'm great, I'm wonderful, even if that is not anywhere near in your heart what you were thinking at all. You're just like, oh, like, hey, like another win, this is why you should work with me. um, it goes back to being social, especially on social media. It goes back to this is a community. It isn't just about you. Maybe you're the founder of this community, but you are not the dictator. You are not the ruler. It is a community. And I think that that is a good thing to say as well, because a lot of us, one, some people, they're just scared to show any of their wins at all. So
Mhm.
it's just a thing of like, oh, I finally am doing this. It's great. But definitely being able to, look back and to be able to say, wow, if you had asked me 3 years ago if I would be here, I wouldn't. And this just shows that if you continue to do this, if you continue to put in the work, it really can pay off. If like, this is why strategy is important, or this is why this is important. And that's another reason why I absolutely love podcasting. Absolutely love it.
Just to
Because
piggyback on what you're
yeah.
saying, is that some persons are afraid to show their wins, and it's because they think it's not winning enough.
Mhm.
Because on this in the scope of social media, why would I show my very small win when there are people like Leslie who has great wins? A win is a win,
Thank
okay?
you.
A win is a win. Share your win, because your
Mhm.
micro win in your mind might be a major win for someone else. So share your wins. Share it because you've done something great, but also share it because somebody at that point in time, maybe at their lowest moment, and your
Mhm.
win just gave them some motivation. So just for those people who don't share their wins because, it's just 200 subscribers, you know what? It's better than zero. So share
Right.
your win.
I will never forget. It's from the movie Fast and Furious. It's the very first one. Vin Diesel has a line that said, "It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or if you win by a mile. Winning is winning."
Winning
So
is winning.
if you have one person view your story, or if you have somebody who, like, one person liked what you put out there, and you have other people that are in the thousands or millions, whatever, you still had a win because
Yeah.
you were afraid to put that up in the first place, you know? So you have people that are thinking it's not that big of a deal, and then you have other people that they truly are afraid of the internet. It is one of those things of, I don't want to be judged. And if I show any of my wins, then people will think that I am, arrogant or something like that. I've definitely come across that as well. And I feel like this. Here's the thing. The people who are for you are always going to be for you.
True.
And it isn't just about you. Like you said, I don't know how many people that I've seen them winning, and I'm just like, man, that's going to be me one day. And so, especially when you read their story, especially if they have tied it back into, they're like, 5 years ago, I was homeless and look at me now. Or like a year ago, I was here and this is where I am now. It's like, wow, so much can change. So much, like, it makes you want to fight more. It makes you want to understand your business more. It makes you want to be better. And
Yeah.
so don't, at least with me, like, I've gotten to the place, like, you get older, you get wiser, and you honestly just stop caring. You're like, that was high school. I'm a grown woman. you know? So you get to a place where you're just like, I'm celebrating me in this moment. So that is what
Yeah.
this post is about. This post is, yeah, I'm also showing you that I did great here, but now I've, tied something to it. Another thing that you can do that I have done and I've seen other business owners do as well is they're like, share your wins, especially if they like have created a group or something where they're like, this is my win today, keep it going, share your win, like comment on this post or like post something in the group. What have you been doing great today? Or what has been going great? So they started the trend or the train, and they're asking you to come along so that it's no longer just about them. So if you're afraid to post your win for whatever reason, you can also tie it to that if that makes you feel more comfortable as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because it's all about community, right? At
Yeah.
the end of the day, community is really what helps you significantly with your marketing. Your own marketing efforts does only so much, but your community now becomes your ambassadors and they carry you forward. So even if you are not certain of how to share your wins as you, that's a wonderful idea. I've done that quite a few times because more than anything else, on my social media platforms, it's all about community. I
Mhm.
often say unjokingly, like I'm very serious about this. My page, especially like my Instagram is a group on Instagram.
Mhm.
Like the people who are there connected as followers, it looks small in number, but I have one extremely plugged in Instagram community. Why? Because firstly, I call it a community. I don't have followers. We have a community up there. I also say we're a community of action takers, and everyone gets into this because it's who I am. I'm a teacher by nature, so I teach. And then
Mhm.
I say, please go do your homework. So we've built the community. And so when we start, this is just an example. If you were to go over to my Instagram, you'll notice I don't think I'm at 2000. I'm somewhere under there.
Mhm.
I don't pay attention to the numbers. Why? Because I do understand that one, the quality is spot on. Most of the people who are there are the people who are supposed to be there in terms of who I'm intended to serve. Two, they're plugged in. Like they're locked in, locked, loaded, set their calendars for whenever I'm going to turn up live. That's how committed and connected they are. And then three, when I look at what I get out of the community by way of the business metrics of it, it actually absolutely makes sense. I don't want a 10,000 page Instagram and two people are liking or engaging. Nobody is buying. Nobody's going to my website. So you got to build community as well, right? So everything that you're doing with your marketing, I've learned because this is a big shift from when I started business, right? And I guess we'll get into that. But it's a big shift from how I understood marketing when I got into business to now. It's all about community. My biggest goal is to create community in every space that I'm in. And from there, my sales come
Mhm.
consistently, and I've seen it happen over time. So, for those of you who are hesitant about social media, that was your girl here. Let's be real. I was real hesitant, particularly with this business, right? I I had a good, thing going in the offline world, and I still do. But I figured in building a global business, you have to use the avenues that allow you to transcend physical boundaries.
Mhm.
So I started to use my social media. I started on Facebook, and then I was trying to do all the things because everyone said be everywhere.
Yeah, that's bad advice.
And then I realized, girl, be real. You're not that person. So the strategist in me said, we're gonna start in one space at a time, and I would build one platform at a time. And I did, of course, strategy numbers make sense. I did my research and I recognized Instagram was the space that I wanted to build the business coaching clientele community. And that's where
Mhm.
I started to build it. And what did I lean on? So your girl is I have some skill, but I had to do what came naturally to me. Naturally, I'm a speaker and I'm a teacher. So I
Mhm.
taught. So I started teaching every Monday on Instagram. And I teach business strategy and I teach things that people can implement. And we're going into 3 years, over 3 years of me teaching on Instagram. And people set their calendars and they set reminders. And if I don't turn up, they message me like, where are you? You're running late? What's going on? So I've built this now space of building community by teaching. Now,
Mhm.
do I have the graphics and stuff? I do, but that didn't come as natural as turn on a camera and teach. But I did have a hesitation because I'm like, who are these people on the internet? I don't
Mhm.
know who they are. Like, I could speak to 400 people in person, but the invisible internet people was a challenge for me initially. But you do it afraid.
Yeah,
And on the other side of the fray, you realize it's way worse in your mind than it is in the real world. Like nobody's trolling you,
right.
nobody's saying anything negative. And from there, my Instagram was built up. And just like, as I said, it's like a constant stream of clients for coaching From a very small page, my conversion rates are fantastic. I have a consult call. I'm I probably have a over 50 to 60% conversion rate. I haven't actually looked at the numbers. So everyone who come, every 10 persons who come on for a consult call, 6 persons become a client.
Hey,
Now that's a fantastic conversion rate
yes.
from meeting a need, being very targeted. So I'm not interested in statistics like vanity numbers. I don't want to go viral. I don't have capacity to serve a viral upsurge.
Audience.
I'm building the
Yeah.
capacity for that. That's in the strategy. But I'm not there. I don't want to be viral right now. I have to have the things to get to make money from viral. Right?
Hmm.
I don't have some of the things for that because it's mainly I have some things, but they're not for everyone. So there was that. And once I did the Instagram, then I said, okay, LinkedIn, because LinkedIn was for me now to build up my professional speaker side
Yes.
in a space. LinkedIn is perfect for that. So I built up my LinkedIn for a year and I worked on the background of it, right? So all of everything for my speaking functionality in my business is set up. So my LinkedIn, I built that up. And that has been building. And now I have leads coming in for speaking consistently there, like consistent paid leads. And then I know this year it's YouTube. Why YouTube? Search engine optimization for something I'm
Mm.
launching later in the year. So everything has its space and its place, and you don't want to get caught up in vanity statistics. I want you to get caught up on understanding what your people need, who they are, and getting those people in the spaces you want them to be in. So I know I kind of jumped the gun, but it just kind of flowed naturally there.
No, it did. It did. I love it. For I've talked about LinkedIn on here multiple times, but how did you personally build up your LinkedIn within a year, especially those of us who like are in the speaking world or people who are trying to get in there to get more paid speaking opportunities?
Okay, so because LinkedIn is superbly SEO optimized, the first thing is you want to be certain what, if, for instance, if you're using speaking, you want to be certain what speaker bookers are looking for. So
Mhm.
let me tell you up front what they're not looking for. They're not typing motivational speaker. No, they're not. They're not typing international speaker. They're not. They're not typing inspirational speaker. They are not searching for that at all. So you have to know what your audience is looking for. So what helps me is at recognizing firstly that my audience is not the persons who are in the seats at the event, but rather
Mhm.
the person who is putting on the event.
Yes.
Mindset. Once you know who they are, it's speaker bookers or event planners. What are the topics that are of greatest significance to them? You have to be very intentional about optimizing your LinkedIn
Hmm.
for what you want to speak on. Now, if the terms that you use in terms of what you want to speak on are not the terms that they're searching for, then you need to integrate the terms that they are searching for into your LinkedIn profile. How you
Hmm.
do that is through your job descriptions, interestingly enough. It's through your statement at the top. You know, when they find your profile,
Yeah.
who you are, and what you speak about. Those things at the top there are very important. So you need to turn on your creator mode firstly so that you can
Hmm.
get that sorted out quickly, right? If you look at if you go check my profile, I'm assuming you'll get the links on the podcast. Um, you will see that the way I describe myself on my Instagram and on my LinkedIn are the same, but in different orders. So on my Instagram, it's business coach, business strategist, international speaker. On my Instagram is expert business strategist, international speaker, then business coach. Because I'm not there to get coaching clients, truthfully. I'm there for consultancy and speaking.
Mm.
Okay. So you want to ensure that you go through your entire profile and ensure that it's optimized for what you want to be found for, which means looking at your headline, looking at your about, reconfiguring all of your job description to ensure that your keywords are littered all the way through. That's your
Mhm.
first step. The second thing you want to do is get reviews. Yes, reviews are important on LinkedIn.
Yes.
It's hard at times, but you want to get reviews specifically for what you want to be found for. So
Mm.
you go and you make the connections, you get the reviews from persons who have worked with you before. Thirdly, you want to ensure that your picture and your banner says what you needed to see.
Exactly. Yes.
That's very important. Visuals are key. So again, my banner not only says what I do, but there are two images presently, one that gives a kind of coaching feel and one that gives a speaking feel. Very
Mhm.
clear. So it's from this outline you start to right away get the sense that this is what you're about. Okay? And truthfully, when it comes to being booked as a paid speaker, you have to look like you are booked as a paid speaker.
Mm.
You have to look like you are booked as a paid speaker. You don't look it, then I'm going to pay you. They're just not. They're not even going to ask you how much your fee is. They're
Yeah.
not. So it takes some time. LinkedIn is a slower road, but it
Mhm.
works. Okay, so in working on my LinkedIn for so long and optimizing my featured section, so it clearly shows first and foremost what I want to be seen for. That first scroll has to tell the story that this is someone who does a particular thing, does it well, and should be paid for it.
Yes.
The rest is just continue to build community.
Mm.
So I did have some support with my LinkedIn because again, you got to know what you're building. So
Mhm.
I fixed all of that and I had an administrator working for me and she was then tasked to start making connections with certain people. Now this is where you start to take your business to a different space. The reason that we don't have persons have challenges with VAs is that your VA is waiting for you to tell them what to do.
Mhm.
The reason that they're waiting for you to tell them what to do is because you don't have a structure, you don't have documentation, you don't have systemization. So when
Mm.
you don't have that, they're gonna come and say, "I need to meet you every Monday.
Mhm.
I'm waiting for you to do this." I needed an administrator. So an administrator is like an administrative assistant, and what she did for me is that she replicated me.
Yeah.
So I created the tone of the messaging for new contacts, and no one knew that it wasn't speaking to me. Well, they know now, but no one knew that they weren't speaking to me. So she would then make the connections, make the contacts, and come back to me and say, "Well, this is 5 people that you now need to go and interface with directly."
Yes.
I did that for 12 months, and things are flowing lovely. Things are flowing really well.
That is awesome. Well, oh my goodness, you have been such a wealth of information. We will definitely have all the links to her socials in the show notes as well. But what is your website right now so people can find you?
It is danahayesburke.com. Yeah, it's very simple. Dana
Okay,
Hayes-Burke.
awesome. Perfect.
No hyphen, just danahayesburke.com.
Perfect. We'll have that in the show notes as well. And thank you guys again for tuning in to Leslie and Lily. And don't forget to sign up for my weekly newsletter where you get tips and tricks and all of the good things and all of the happenings on what is going on in the digital marketing world. As well as right now, if you sign up for my letter, you also get a coupon for 50% off my current marketing program that is about to end soon. So you might want to jump on it. And until next time, we will see you later. Bye.